Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. As you know, we have discussed lesson number 4, that is quality, written by John Galsworthy. Let us discuss today its questions. So let's start. Question: How long had the narrator known the Gessler brothers? How long had the narrator known the Gessler brothers? Answer is: the narrator had known the Gessler brothers from his extreme youth, as they made boots for his father when the narrator was 14. Right? Question number second: How did the narrator differentiate between two brothers? How did the narrator differentiate between two brothers? Who was more skilled of the two? Find a sentence from the lesson to illustrate this. The answer of this question is: both of them were similar in structure and look. How did narrator differentiate between two brothers? Answer is: both of them were similar in structure and look. Who was more skilled of the two? Find a sentence from the lesson to illustrate this. Younger Gessler was more skilled of the two. Younger Gessler was more skilled of the two. Find a sentence from the lesson to illustrate this. The elder Gessler's words: I will ask my brother. Find a sentence. The sentence is: I will ask my brother. The elder Gessler's words: I will ask my brother, clearly shows that the younger one was more skilled. Now, question is: why does the narrator compare the atmosphere of the shop to that of a church? Why did narrator compare? Why the atmosphere of the shop was compared to that of a church? Answer is: the atmosphere of the Gessler's shop is compared to that of a church because one is never in a hurry while entering the church, and there is always a profound silence that one experiences while entering the building meant for worship. Gesslers worked on making shoes with religious zeal, and besides, Gesslers believed in honesty and selfless service. For them, work is worship. Right? The atmosphere of the Gessler shop is compared to that of church because one is never in a hurry while entering the church, and there is always a profound silence that one experiences while entering the building meant for worship. Gesslers worked on making shoes with religious zeal, and besides, Gesslers believed in honesty and selfless service. For them, work is worship. Now, question is: on one occasion, the shoemaker offered to take back the narrator's shoe. On one occasion, the shoemaker offered to take back the narrator's shoe. Why did he do so? Why did he do so? The answer is: it was because that the narrator had complained against that fear of town making boots, which according to him creak. On this, the Gessler offered to take back the shoes from the narrator to see what was fault with them. He considered it a severe criticism or reflection on his professional art. He even offered to take them off his bill if he could not do without with them. On one occasion, the shoemaker offered to take back the narrator's shoe. Why did he do so? The answer is: it was because that narrator it was because that the narrator had complained against that fear of town making boots, which according to him creak. On this, the Gessler offered to take back the shoes from the narrator to see what was fault with them. He considered it a severe criticism. He considered it a severe criticism or reflection on his professional art. He even offered to take them off his bill if he could, if he could do nothing with them. The question is: Does big worms have no self-respect? Who said this? Does big worms have no self-respect? Who said this? Who were the big worms he was referring to? What does this mean? Why did he say this? Gessler said to this. Gessler said this to the narrator. Does big worms have self-respect? Who said this? Gessler said this to the narrator. Who were the big worms? Big worms were big firms. Big firms were big firms or factories which produced shoes on a large scale without caring for the quality. What does this mean? Why did he say this? Gessler said these words because the shoe bought by the narrator were of inferior quality. He said this because inferior quality shoes were on sale through advertisement. Answer, let me repeat answer again. Gessler said this to the narrator. Big firms were the big firms or the factories which produce shoes on a large scale without caring for the quality. Gessler said these words because the shoe bought by narrator were aware of inferior quality. He said this because inferior quality shoes were on sale through advertisement. Now question is, what were the changes that narrator observed when he visited the shoemaker's shop after 2 years? What were the changes that narrator observed when he visited shoemaker's shop after 2 years? Why had he not visited him for such a long time? Answered, when the narrator visited Gessler's shop after 2 years, he was surprised to see outside one of the two windows another shoemaker's name was painted. The old boots, which were once in dignified isolation, were now huddled in the single window. The now contracted shop was more darker than before. He could not visit Gessler's shop for 2 years because shoes purchased by the narrator were very durable. There was no need for him to visit the shop. Question: what were the changes that narrator observed when he visited the shoemaker's shop after 2 years? Why had he not visited him for such a long time? When the answer is when the narrator visited Gessler's shop after 2 years, he was surprised to see outside one of the two windows another shoemaker's name was painted. The older boots, which were once in dignified isolation, were now huddled in the single window. The now contracted shop was more darker than before. He could not visit Gessler's shop for 2 years because shoes purchased by the narrator were very durable. There was no need for him to visit the shop. Now the question is, why did narrator order 3 pairs of shoes when he wanted only two? Why did the narrator order 3 pairs of shoes when he wanted only two? Answer: the narrator ordered 3 pairs instead of two because he wanted to give Gessler some work. The narrator ordered 3 pairs instead of two because he wanted to give Gessler some work. Gessler was already losing business. The narrator wanted to help an honest craftsman. The narrator wanted to help an honest craftsman. Right? Now question is, why was narrator shocked to receive the bill for his shoes? Why was narrator shocked to receive the bill for his shoes? What did he do? Answer: the narrator was shocked to receive the bill for his shoes because it had never happened before. Because it had never happened before, he felt that Gessler was in severe economic strain. He felt that Gessler was in severe economic strain. He himself wrote a check and posted it at once. Now the question is, what were the reasons that led to the death of the younger of the Gessler brothers? What were the reasons that led to the death of the younger of the Gessler brothers? What were the reasons that led to the death of the younger of the Gessler brothers? The younger one of the Gessler brothers was an excellent bootmaker, but he could not manage to carry on his business smoothly. He faced stiff competition from the factories. He worked day and night. He never gave himself the time to eat. He lost his customers one by one, and his financial crisis increased. He never had a penny in his house. All went in rent and leather. He lost his shop, then his brother, and ultimately he died of starvation. Question: what were the reasons that led to the death of the younger of Gessler brothers? The younger one of the Gessler brothers was an excellent bootmaker, but he could not manage to carry on his business smoothly. He faced stiff competition from the factories. He worked day and night. He never gave himself the time to eat. He lost his customers one by one, and his financial crisis increased. He never had a penny in his house. All went in rent and leather. He lost his shop, then his brother, and ultimately he himself died of starvation. Question is, why did the Gessler brothers lose customers even though they made the best shoes in the town? Why did the Gessler brothers lose customers even though they made the best shoes in the town? Answer: Gessler brothers lost customers because of industrialization. Shoes were produced on a large scale. Gessler brothers failed to change with the changing times. Their pace of production was very low. People could not wait, so they began to lose customers. They were forced to starve without food and money. They were forced to starve without food and money. Thank you. Wish you all the best.